we're doing the Accountant Bracket Challenge. ABC March Appness. We just want to have fun. We don't want to make this taxing. It's already tax season. People need a fun distraction during tax season. Our nomination period open now for you. Text ABC to 33339, or you go to bracket.accountinghigh.com. That's it. Super easy. ABC to 33339, or go to bracket.accountinghigh.com. Go in and enroll. Just get ready. Buckle up.
May I have your attention, please?
Greetings, Accounting High. It's me, Miss Smiles, your friendly front office lady, bringing you your morning announcements. Welcome to your weekly installment of Accounting High Times, where every Friday, Scotty and Byron will be bringing you the latest news and updates from Accounting High, as well as a few highlights from our blog, The Accounting High Guide. First up is our coverage of the ABC March Appness event. Enroll today at bracket.accountinghigh.com. We've also got the latest scoop on the Accounting High's weekly roundup, as well as a lesson from Accounting High's AP AI class. And as always, thank you for joining us. Sit back, relax, and open your mind, because it's time for Accounting High Times.
I repeat, may I have your attention, please?
This is another public service announcement brought to you in part
by Accounting High.
The views and events expressed here are
of the next generation of accounting and tech professionals leading this space.
The events and suggestions are not to be taken lightly. Children should not partake in the listening
of this podcast.
Anything else?
Yeah. So without further ado, introducing the star of our show,
Scotty and Byron.
We're going to have a problem here.
What's up, homie?
Not much. Another week. It's February.
It is.
Holy shit.
Fully February. I'm showing my true colors here. I've, I talk about this a lot. I've gone red pretty much in my heart and everything that I tend to wear these days. But now that this bracket challenge is live, that the ABC Appness is live, I'm wearing some of my Carolina gear. Like this is
representing
my true colors, man. Every time I think of tournament, I always think of Carolina. So we're off to the races. We went live with it.
We did
on Monday.
We did.
And positive results so far. What do you think? Is this what you had expected? Because you're a little more realistic than I am.
I think this is right around where I expected. I mean, we're just over 100 students enrolled, for week one launch. I think that's strong. I was optimistic that we'd be at 100 at this point.
All right. Yeah. Well, I know it's tax season.
Yep.
Everybody doesn't like to do anything during tax season. Push it off. I love distractions during tax season. I used to love anything that could be a quick hit of dopamine or a distraction, something fun. That's what this is. This isn't. This is going to take a lot of people a lot of time, right?
It shouldn't pull you away from anything. I mean, we should have a checkbox for how many nominations are coming in from the bathroom. Like this is something you do in the bathroom.
It could be something you do in the bathroom. I would hope that people are taking a little bit more time with their nominations, but a lot of times, this is their true colors. Like, what are the apps that got them started? What are the apps I was thinking about mine. I haven't even done mine yet. And what were the apps that really got me started thinking about apps and changed the game for me? What are the podcasts that changed? So I want to go back to my roots and nominate the ones that are my foundational apps too.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I'll tell you one of the trends that has surprised me is just the volume of nominations related to groups and resources. I'm seeing groups and resources that I didn't even know existed that have multiple nominations. So that's been surprising to me.
This is going to be the list of all lists. We're going to be able to use this nomination list all throughout the year to talk about our top 10 lists of different categories. Best in class, voted on by the people, for the people.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. We've already got over 138 different
platforms,
channels.
Yeah,
different. which, the bracket's only 64. When we first started thinking about this, I'm like, man, I don't know if I could think of 64 different things to put on the bracket.
Yeah.
And it's just off the hook. So I can't wait to see more nominations come in.
You know what really struck me as unique and interesting, and this is going to change the game a little bit for us here, is Tax Twitter got nominated. And that right there is the most decentralized. I mean, we're not going to get Elon to come on if they make it to the Final Four, but I think they actually have a strong case to be made. There's a lot of people on Tax Twitter. That is a community in and of itself that is decentralized. I wonder if we could track down the first person who used that hashtag. Maybe we can have them on, and a couple of the real OGs of Tax Twitter.
Legit OGs, yeah. I mean, absolutely. There's always Elon.
I wouldn't put it past him to do something like this. I mean, like that. I was saying this to Nicole yesterday. We recorded, like, that would be the ultimate. If we could get Elon on and David Barrett, like, get them on the same episode, that would be dope.
That would be badass. Yeah, no doubt. But the other thing that I think I've really enjoyed is I haven't gone through nearly all of them, but the testimonials are I think really cool, because you hear people talk about different like apps and resources and vendors, but to have people putting their like authentic testimonials in there about like why they are nominating these things, it's pretty cool. I mean, there's even a couple Accounting High testimonials on in there. I
know. I don't know if we should.
You may have shed a tear.
Yeah, I did actually shed a tear yesterday. So I read one of our testimonials on air yesterday, Shane Sullivan's, and that one made my heart melt. It was awesome. You'll have to wait till the next Varsity Tips to hear that. Yeah, the testimonials, that's an X factor in this competition too, because people really are putting their heart out and talking about why these things have changed their life in some cases. Yep. I wanted to talk about early results too. Like, so of the 244 nominations, so that we got 107 students. Not all of them have nominated yet because we only have 244. I mean, do the math. We should have over 500 if everybody nominated one thing or 5 things. Early results. Gusto is in the lead with 4. No, wait. Gusto is tied with
0.
No, Gusto's tied with Cloud Accounting Podcast with 13. They both have 13. Zero's got 12. The last I checked, it was a little different. Gusto was in the lead. Now Cloud's got another one. Maybe David went in and voted his. I know Blake voted for it, but I don't see David in here yet. He's going to be the last to come to the party. You know this. He'll show up later and vote his. But Gusto's got 13. If we count Gusto Academy and Gusto as the same thing. So, some of these we have to consolidate too. We've got Zero, really strong showing for Zero early on, which I expected. QuickBooks, not a strong showing early on as I expected. But as this starts to spread for the QuickBooks people,
it's early.
QuickBooks Desktop has 1 vote. QuickBooks Online has 3. So I don't know if we're going to separate those, if they're separate products, or we're just going to call it QuickBooks. These are interesting decisions that we're going to have to make for the tournament.
That's what it'll come down to when we start to put this into the bracket. We'll have to figure out how we look at these things and break them down. But yeah. I mean, it's kind of interesting because there's those couple of clear front runners, but then the middle of the pack is all over the place. There's really kind of a pretty widespread nominations in that like 4, 5, 6 number of nominations. Yeah.
Well, Carbon's got a strong showing, which again I expected that as well. A lot of my team came in and voted, and I can see they voted for Carbon. My team loves Carbon, so that's a little unfair to begin with, since my team, almost all of them have voted too. But still, that's we'll start to see people's teams voting. Everybody. We're going to start to shape up these prizes. So we've got a brought to you by. We got a sponsor on deck, not fully finalized yet, but we're going to see what these prizes are shaping up to be. Ignition is excited about this. They might be our premier sponsor for the tournament. We're going to work that out over the next week. Maybe we'll have something fully to announce. We've got, this is going to be unexpected. All of it, I think, is going to be somewhat expected for us, for our little bubble of people. But as it gets outside of our bubble and as others start to nominate, we're going to start to see what's real from the streets, right? What are the streets voting?
Yep.
What do they think?
Well, and that almost as interesting as, some of the nominations that I didn't even know of are the gaps. There's definitely a few that I haven't seen make the list yet. And I'm not going to put them out there because somebody will just nominate just because I threw it out there. But, there's definitely some gaps, which tells me either there's things out there that aren't as valuable as maybe the buzz makes them sound, or we just got to get some more nominations in. And so I think for everybody out there who's already submitted your nominations, please share it out because, the bigger this list, the more nominations.
So I wonder,
the better this is going to be.
I wonder if we can start doing extra raffle tickets for a share link, where if somebody shares the link and maybe shares their nominations, maybe we can create some kind of auto-generated graphic of their nominations. They share it on Twitter, they share it on LinkedIn, or they share it on Instagram, and they get some bonus raffle tickets, right? Extra chances to win.
Yeah, we can explore that.
We can explore it.
I think there may be some ways to do that.
Potentially, so stay tuned for that.
Yep.
I'll read one of our testimonials because these testimonials are pretty heartfelt. This one was a recent one. I love this podcast. Someone who is new to accounting. I love all the different topics discussed. I especially like the ones where we compared CPA versus EA. So that was the debates, Accounting High debates. That was our first ever debate match. This must be someone who listened to that match. That was a good one. We got more debates on the way.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
nice.
That's our update for the nomination phase. We got a whole month of nominations to go, month and 10 days. So buckle up, stay tuned for more. This is the ABC March Appness Accountant Bracket Challenge. Text ABC to 33339 or go to bracket.accountinghigh.com and get your nominations in if you haven't yet. You could win a trip to Hawaii, maybe. That's going to be confirmed soon. So it's going to be a dope trip.
Awesome.
We also talked about apps giving things away as they get knocked out of the tournament. So already talked to Tally4 about this. They're going to give away an Airbnb gift card, or maybe we frame it as a trip somewhere and they give the gift card for that trip. As they compete, when they get knocked out, that's going to trigger a prize. So keep everybody going. Even if somebody gets knocked out, there's a consolation. They get mentioned. We talk about it. We talk about the solution, and we give away their prize. So all throughout the tournament, we're going to be giving away dope prizes.
Cool. Solid. Oh, and
that's assuming that they get knocked out. They may not get knocked out. They could win it all, right?
Yeah, and just for everybody out there, and we'll leave this just for the listeners, but there is a bit of a surprise. If you click on your tickets up in the header, it will show you all your legit raffle tickets.
Oh, yes.
So there are, in fact, raffle tickets.
And they look awesome. They look just like a raffle ticket.
Yeah.
So I've got mine. I've got my numbers in there. I must have done some nominations because I already have 11 tickets.
Yeah. Well, and keep in mind, you can edit those.
Yeah.
So
I also not going to be able to win, so I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to remove my tickets from the drawing. It's going to be random.
Easy. We can do that.
We can do that. We can figure that out later. I just don't want to be able to win this thing. So. Cool. No. Well, let's do our weekly roundup now. This is the AH weekly roundup. You got some news to share, right?
I do.
What's the big news?
I do. Yeah, man. It's so the last couple months I've been on a bit of a hiatus, which has given me time to play around with you on some of this stuff. But I finally decided to move out of the unemployment line, and I'm now working with Amy Vetter and the B3 Institute. Going to be working on various workshops, doing consulting with firms, various speaking opportunities. And just super amped. I mean, Amy and I have known each other for a really long time. worked together in a variety of capacities, but now it's official. So I'm super amped. I'm have joined the B3 Method Institute.
The B3 with AV. So I hope that one day we can have Amy be part of the AV club here. Amy Vetter, AV club, right? The AV club at Accounting High.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Hey, you've got an episode with her
just recorded
in the
it.
queue.
Just recorded it last week. It was awesome. We just scratched the surface. I know we're going to have to go deeper. We have read a lot of the same books, and we're both students of the game here, of this mindfulness, intentionality. Like all of the books that I've been reading are right up her alley. That's part of her platform. And so I'm hoping we could explore some book reports with Amy too, potentially at Accounting High.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
We'll see what the future holds there. We released an episode, speaking of books, we released an episode called Rock the Books Like a Rock Star with Sherelle Martin.
Yes.
That didn't have a title last week as we were talking about it, but now it's been released. It has a title. Sherelle Martin, that was back in November at the Fresh Books Partner Meetup in Atlanta. Dope episode. Check that out.
Yeah, it's a great episode. I enjoyed it.
Got another
entertaining. A few special guests popped in.
A few special guests, yeah, but that's in the bloopers at the end, right?
Yeah, you got to listen to the end.
Stay to the bloopers. We're including bloopers in a lot of episodes or raps, depending on the flow. So that one had both a rap and a blooper.
Yep.
We got another one, Stop the Scroll, with Riza Huda. He is awesome. He's over in the UK. I found him on LinkedIn last year at some point, and I was just loving his posts. He's got an accountant community over there. He's got 4 pillars of accounting or of running a practice, and they all start with the letter P. And they are all topics that me and Nicole have already discussed. It was perfect. P for perfect, right? So stay tuned for that. You'll hear that soon. That's going to be released today, be right before this one. So for anybody listening to this, they may have already heard that. They may be able to go check that one out. He's got some great tips to stopping the scroll if you want to get involved on the socials, put yourself out there for marketing purposes. He talks about storytelling. It's a great episode.
Nice. Look forward to that.
I'm going to hone in on my storytelling techniques. And now we're ready for our AH Accounting Article of the Week.
Yeah, so I was checking out, big fan of the Friday footnotes at Going Concern. And there were 2 articles that they grabbed in there that I think really stood out. And it may just be me, but I like to highlight the positives of what's going on in our profession here. And to that thought,
this is going to be happy times here. This is happy times at Accounting High. We're always going to keep it positive, I think. People can go other places to get the negative news. We're going to keep it positive.
Yeah, no doubt. And Armanino announced a record partner class of 26 partners, which is just wild to me.
That's 26 new partners?
26 new partners.
So that's like a class, like a graduating class almost, right?
I think I graduated college with 26 accounting students. Yeah, that's just awesome. I think, there's probably a lot of motivations to it, including the kind of talent crunch. So lock and load some of these folks and give them ownership opportunities. So I think it's awesome.
2 questions. What does this mean for those 26 individuals? What changes of their job now? And how many pizzas do they have to get for that party for them, for 26 people?
It's definitely a lot of pizzas. They're Armanino's 20th largest firm in the country. So I don't know exactly how many people they have, but it's a good sized firm. But, I'm sure, from a ownership perspective or responsibility perspective, it's probably a lot of what they were already doing, possibly some further business development expectations, once you become a partner. But, probably from a day-to-day, I kind of scrolled through the list. I mean, there's a lot of audit partners, a number of tax partners, risk assurance, consulting, business management. So it's definitely from a variety of different disciplines. And, I tried to look on their website to figure out how many partners they have total. And I stopped counting after like 36.
So it doesn't like say we have this many partners. It's just everybody's picture listed.
Everybody's picture, and you can't even sort by partner, which is kind of cool. They don't necessarily make that a sorting spot, but there were just way too many pages to start counting.
So enlighten me, for somebody that's never worked at a very large firm. What does that really mean for these individuals? They were employees, now they're partners. Do they buy in? Are they just given equity? Do they make more? What's the thing?
Well, there's really typically kind of two partner classes. Usually there's a profit sharing partner, and then there's equity partners. Typically the first tier when you make partnership is that in that profit sharing space where you may not necessarily be expected to buy in directly. And then there's opportunities to become equity partners. So, every firm kind of handles these things a little bit differently. My guess is with, this being initial partners, these are profit sharing partners. I'm not confident. I don't know if there's an expectation of buy-in at that level of partner.
Okay. So different levels, different partners, but typically that's, and what does this mean for them as partner? Does their job change?
It's probably not much responsibility change. It's more just benefiting in the upside, certain responsibilities as it relates to voting on management of the firm, having a say at that level. But, usually at that point, not much is going to change that I'm aware of.
So that's like the ultimate promotion. Like the partner promotion is like the top promotion you can get at a firm.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? If you're sticking in public, I mean, that's
you want to make partner.
To make partner.
You've put your work in, you've made partner. That's a big deal. You're one of the elite at the firm.
That's it.
Okay. I'm looking at, my guys are looking at buying in for some equity at my firm, and I don't know what to call it. I don't think they're partners. They could be part owners, but really they're just equity. Maybe they are equity partners. Maybe that's what it's going to be. I'm not sure. They're my management team, so they are like as high as they can get to what they're doing, but I don't know what that means.
Yeah, they may just be shareholders.
Shareholders, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I got an episode.
That's awesome. I think that's great.
Got an episode coming up of somebody else that has done that structured it as a C Corp. So they've had people buy in, and they're all just shareholders, essentially, of the C Corp. So
I'm all for that. I think that's great.
Yeah.
It benefits everybody.
And any other mentions for this article of the week?
Yeah. So, kind of in a similar space, they highlighted an article actually from the New Jersey Business Magazine that was just discussing kind of this tidal wave of demand in the accounting industry and, how it's being challenged with, the amount of talent that is out there and how, at least in some regions, it is leading to, higher salaries for accountants. As demand is increasing and the ability to charge more for services, they are seeing an increase in salaries, which has been one of the big, I guess, frustrations for trying to attract talent into this industry. Is salaries have lagged behind some industries. I have a lot of opinions about the venture capital world and what it's done to, I think, overinflate a lot of people's salaries, which is kind of making it difficult for a lot of professions. But all of that being said, I think it's an interesting article.
We're due for a correction of that, I guess. The overinflation of salaries.
Right. Yeah, I think we're due for a correction, but I think it's also putting undue pressure on industries where, you're not being just given millions of dollars just to, blow on human capital. And, it's creating expectations that are different. If you're a CPA who goes into the venture capital backed SaaS space, you're going to wonder why you ever pursued general public accounting salary, because it's very dynamically different, at least early in your career. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of years. But this article is certainly indicating that correction is beginning to happen.
Sure. Well, we'll see how that goes. Keep us posted as that continues to play out. We've got another segment, the APAI class or AHAI agenda. I haven't landed on which one sticks yet, but which one do you like better? The AHAP AI class?
AHAP. I mean, yeah, that's not bad.
That stands for Accounting High's Advanced Placement Artificial Intelligence class. We're just shortening it with all the little abbreviations there. Or the AI agenda. We're going to talk about AI every week now. This is blowing my mind. ChatGPT is taking the world on by storm. My mom is a lifetime learner. I marvel at what she's doing. She's putting together our newsletter. She's using our transcripts from our last AH Times episode. So our first AH Gazette newsletter is for the people that read and don't listen to the podcast. So for those that want to just read through our news and notes and updates and announcements and coming soons and all that, we're going to finally have a newsletter. And she's taking classes and courses on how to use these AI tools better. So she's using both ChatGPT and Jasper for a lot of this stuff. I'm amazed. And I also showed it to my daughter, who had never heard of it, the other day. And I told her, use it for everything in school. Everything that anybody asks you to write, use ChatGPT. Please. Like, this is your new calculator. This is your TI-85. You know? She's not a good writer like me. I struggled.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I wish I had ChatGPT in high school and
Talk to your daughters about this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, my youngest is in her third year at Pitt. You know, there's definitely undercurrent about using it on, for school things. And look, I'm all for opportunities to kind of stimulate thought and creativity. I've always been one of those people where it's like, if there's something already down there, I can build it with, great thought and do awesome stuff. But if you give me a blank canvas, it's really difficult to get started. And that's where I think ChatGPT is awesome. And that's kind of where she's talking about a lot of her, friends are dabbling with it just to help them get started on papers and get ideas and thoughts. Hopefully they're not just pure copy and paste. But yeah.
Blank canvases are difficult. Speaking of blank canvases, so two things about that. I'm reading Rick Rubin's new book. It is amazing. I'm opening up pages, chapters, and just reading it randomly at different spots. I love Rick Rubin. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts with him, so I can hear his voice as I'm reading it, and it's poetry. But it's hitting me right time in my life. Like, everything I read is resonating. I can relate to it, and I can apply it, or I've already applied it, or I've heard somebody else talk about it. There's a chapter that's talking about mindset shifts, and the way he talks about it in the chapter is exactly what James Ashford has been talking about in his books and on his episode, and it's echoing. There's another one about creative constraints, and that's talking about this blank canvas, where when you have an open area to do anything, it's so much harder to do anything. You almost do nothing. Yep. If all the possibilities are open. You have to create these creative constraints. And I heard Kenji talk about this on Drink While You Think at some point. It was a couple of years ago, actually. But I needed that. I'm trying to write the Accountant's Anthem, remaking a DMX. I'm doing a parody of DMX's Rough Riders Anthem. And I started writing it this weekend, and I was using Jasper because I didn't want to put my phone number into ChatGPT. So I'm not using ChatGPT yet. I'm using Jasper, and I just told it, I needed some prompts. I needed somewhere to start. I needed some copy, because all of these raps, I usually have some kind of copy I start with as a basis. And all the copy I could get on accounting and accountants and things that frustrate accountants, things that, just themes in accounting, it's too broad. Way too broad. So it hit me on a walk the other day. I need to even get it narrowed down even further. Accountant is specific, but I'm changing it to the tax accountant's anthem.
Getting super specific.
Every time DMX says the N word, I'm replacing it with taxes. And he says it about 20 plus times in that track. So that's a find and replace in the parody. And then I build around that. That's my foundation. That's my creative constraint. And that's the limitation I'm putting on myself. And then I have to build around that. And that gives me enough framework to work with. But there's a lot of things that are just below the surface on this whole tax. So I was going to use ChatGPT's help for the wrap just to build another solid foundation of topics and things that I'm going to touch on there. But I'm also going to pull in some of our friends in the tax space on Twitter. So I want to get Logan and Adam Markowitz. So Logan Graff and Adam Markowitz, both tax guys, both heavy into tax season. They have some funny tweets. They always do well with their tweets. I'm going to pull them in and get a bunch of quotes or tweets that worked for them that resonated with the tax folk, and use that. And they're going to co-write this rap. They don't know it yet. I haven't approached them yet, but it's just another idea that I had.
Cat's out of the bag.
Cat's out of the bag. Yeah, you might hear this. Nice. So that's how I'm going to start incorporating AI into my life, is helping the foundation of these raps. And honestly, I could struggle and write them all myself. Like, not struggle, but I could spend a lot of time doing it, but I'm going to get in my own way. I always want these things to be perfect. And now I need to just start. I have a process for the raps, and I know it's going to be, I'm going to like it. Let's just say I'm not going to release it or let anybody hear it until I like it. So I know I'm going to think it's good. Let's just say not everybody will think these are good, but this is the anthem, right? I already asked Drew Carrick if it's okay if I do the accountant's anthem volume 2, since he did volume 1. And I already have a vision for the video, but video is probably going to have to be recorded in Austin. So I'm going to have to manifest a trip to Austin at some point, because Paul Glantz helped.
What's wrong with that?
He helped originate the idea, and Logan lives in Austin. So I think I could gather up some accountants there and we can make something happen.
Nice. That's great. Well, and that's the thing. So I don't write raps, but I love writing a good macro or a good script. And that's where I'm having a ball with ChatGPT. I mean, even, something I was doing for the bracket challenge, I just knew I needed a macro because it was going to take me forever to accomplish something I wanted to do with the data. And I went in, explained it like I was telling a 3-year-old, like, I have these columns and I want to take the data and do this. Man, it wrote the script. I put it in. I said, let's see what happens. Flawless. It nailed it out of the park. So I'm using it for all kinds of stuff. And even as I explore, various APIs, I asked it to write me an API for processing payments in FreshBooks. I haven't used it, but it built it for me.
And that's going to be for our for our bracket challenge. We're going to insert some of that in there for the vendors. Stay tuned for that. Hopefully that works, right?
Yeah.
So each week we're going to talk about AI and how it's helping us or what we're using it for. We're going to go deeper into some of these topics, like we talked about last week. The top 5 topics in the accounting profession. Maybe we'll have AI generate some tidbits on each of those topics, and we can go deeper. But I just wanted to touch on that this week. We're trying to keep this to a half hour. We're going to get close to there this week.
So, right. I listened at 1.2, so I think it'll be 30 minutes.
There you go. Oh, it'll be 30 for you or less. Now let's go into, do we have anything else for the AI agenda or API?
No, I mean, we not if we're sticking to 30 minutes. We could jump in there for
we'll get into the coming soons, and we'll hit the road on here.
Let's wrap it up.
Here's some coming soons. Coming soon, like I said, we've got the Gazette coming out for the readers and not listeners. This is a good point Nicole made. Ashley wanted to listen, or Ashley was mentioned on the podcast. Her and Nicole McKenzie's Ashley Carroll, her operations officer, and Ashley said, can I just read the show notes? She didn't even want to listen, right? She's a reader, not a listener. And then I realized Chris is the same way. He doesn't ever listen to these episodes. Sometimes he does when I make him. Like, there's a good topic on there for us for our firm interview that I had. I asked him to listen to it, and he always does like last minute. He doesn't listen to podcasts. So there's a lot of people that don't listen to podcasts. They're going to get our newsletter. Any of our students now going to get our newsletter. We're going to release last week's times and go deeper on those articles. Like I said, stuff we talked about. My mom's putting together a newsletter. That's the AH Gazette. That's coming soon. Should be very soon in inbox near you. AH Guide, the blog, as we talk about these topics, turn them into blogs, again, for the readers, not listeners. And AHTV, I got an update here. Got a call from Terrell Turner, our media center faculty, our librarian, our chief librarian. He's going to help me put together our YouTube channel because he's got the Business Talk Library on there. Check out the Business Talk Library. He's got a lot of accountant-related stuff. He's got a lot of attorney-related stuff, all kinds of content. He's a chief content creator. Terrell Turner, he's awesome. So gave me a call yesterday and asked what he can do to help. I said, dude, let's do this YouTube. AHTV. So
That's awesome.
we're going to get some processes together for that. Stay tuned for the Simple Tasks music video that our buddy Will at Gusto's putting together. WLZ is the moniker he's going to use. So produced by Wills.
WLZ, another video, just pure expert.
Oh God, he's been doing videos since I was a toddler.
OG.
Yeah, you know, I might end up like evolving from the toddler. I love Little Toddler. I think that's always going to be my real rap name, but my business rap name for this tax accountant's anthem is going to be OKR. So that's the OK rapper. On deck, we've got a Ron Baker marathon that I've been talking about. That's edited. I still debating an hour and a half, 2 hour and a half episodes, or just a 3 hour one. Haven't come to a conclusion until I start listening to it. I'm going to review it first. We've got the Firm Hard Numbers coming out after that. We've got 2 more Varsity Tips episodes recorded, ready to go. And another FreshBooks partner meetup in Portland this time with Tori McKee and Sarah Prevost. That's another good one. I had some recordings last week, this week. One with Amy Vetter, the AV Club.
Yes.
The Keela Hill Treywick, a new inductee at the accounting salon. I recorded with her on Monday. That was dope. And the Chat Telegraph, Logan Volume 2. So we're going to do volumes of Logan. Maybe we do them every quarter or once a year or something. But Chat Telegraph. And yeah, got some more raps on the way too. We're gonna discuss. I got a live flow that's ideating. Live Flow is going to be one of our PR partners on the pod, our first subscriber to the pod, or the platform, not the pod, the platform, the Accounting High. So they're going to be one of our first Booster Club supporters at Accounting High.
Sweet.
Yeah,
That's
finally
awesome.
be able to get some of that swag going. So it's going to be dope.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
Well, Byron, anything else you want to close us off with?
Yeah, bro. No. I just go out there and nominate. If your favorite app does not make the bracket, it's your fault if you are not nominating.
Yeah. And here's the other thing about that. I think that we're going to have a minimum number of votes just to make it into the running. Like, one vote's not going to cut it.
Nope.
So it's not even just that one person. It's going to be, you got to have somebody else vote for the app that you want to get in there too. So you got to tell at least 2 people. We're going to probably have a bar of minimum of 3 to 5 votes just to get into that 64 running. And then from there, how are we going to determine the 64 if everybody has 5 votes? Like, if there's 30 apps that have 5 votes and we only have 4 more spots, how do we determine that runoff?
I mean, it's going to be up to, frankly, the vendors to make a push. So if you're a big fan of, XYZ or whatever the case is, tell your account manager, tell whoever you know there to push it out to
Their
the
users.
customer base. Yeah, because you're right. 5, 10. I mean, if we get 1,000 people signed up, that's potentially 5,000 nominations. 5 is not going to cut it.
Actually, it's not. I forgot to scale this in my head. Like, already we only have like a So of everybody that voted, we still have another 2/3 or like 3/4 of votes still to come just from them too. So
that's it. So yeah, the nominations are going to matter, and so it's not even just about your own nomination. It's about your friends, your offices, whoever you know. Get them out there. Like, hey, let's make this competitive. I don't want this to be a soccer game. We're not going to have 1-0 nominations.
Stop knocking soccer. Yeah, stop knocking soccer. There's a lot of people like football. We got international listeners too.
I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, low scoring is not as exciting.
Looks like we got another student while we've been recording. So somebody else came in live while we're recording. So thanks for that. And peace out, homies.
Cool. Later.